Your MC and host, and as you can see, we're all together.
I'm
so stoked. Thank you so much for showing up and letting us spend this evening with you. I got Cassie.
Hey.
And Heather.
What's up?
Here today, and I am so excited to get to know you guys a little bit more deeper, and for everyone else to get to know you guys really deep. We have several questions lined up. If you have any questions, let us know in the chat, and we want to answer this question. So literally everything is on the table today, whether it has to do with faith, marriage, relationships, business partnerships, whether it has to do with homeschooling, plants, movies, whatever you want to ask about, we're here to answer. But specifically, we want to get a real deep dive into what the six-figure journey has been like and what a real six-figure business looks like. Because if you plan on running one, right, you've already made a decision. I am a six-figure coach. I'm going to build a six-figure business. Well, it'd probably be helpful if you knew what actually took place inside a six-figure business.
We'll give you some tips.
I'm going to start off with a really easy question to kind of lead us in. What is you've mentioned, Heather, that you really like chocolate. What is your favorite kind of chocolate?
Ooh, 100% dark chocolate.
Okay.
Mostly because I'm allergic to milk, so there's that. But also, once you go dark chocolate, you can't go back.
I love it.
So amazing. Once you really get a taste for it.
I like dark chocolate too.
Okay. Yep. It's so
better for you.
It is better for you. And then you have a favorite movie that nobody's ever heard of.
And ironically, it's named Chocolat. It's named chocolate.
Oh, I thought you were just saying some random.
No, I legit thought you said Chocolat.
Chocolat.
I know what movie you're talking about now.
Yes, it is so good. It's Johnny Depp and the French Riviera.
I tried to watch that one time.
Oh, it's so good. Really Y'all let me know if anybody else has watched that
What's
movie.
Your favorite part? Why do you love it?
I think I just love the sense of adventure. It's a little bit of romance. It's just a good story.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So cool.
It's one of the few movies I can watch.
I need to rewatch it.
Yeah.
I need to try that one again.
Okay.
Watch it with dark chocolate. Change your life.
Yes, totally.
Okay, so we have, and if you're live with us, go to Put #Team Live. If you're on the rerun, go to Put #Team Rerun. We have been listening from you guys this entire time. As we have learned about six-figure problems, six-figure solutions, pain, and making sure that it's actually clear and all that good stuff. Yeah. What has your journey been to get to where you guys are at now?
Oh my goodness.
You want to go first or me?
All right. So I'll share a little bit of my journey and then I'm going to pass it over to Heather because her story is so good too. But my journey looked a lot like pursuing what I thought the Lord had for me. I went to school for interior design. I graduated. I ran multiple brick and mortar businesses for almost 15 years.
Wow.
And very different.
Yeah, very different. Baby boy number 3 came and the Lord called me away and I had a really hard time letting go. It was really hard to walk away. And he just called me into the online space and eventually Heather and I had the opportunity to work together and that's when everything really started to change.
Yeah.
So, okay, wait, I want to ask a little bit about that because you have 3 boys. I don't have any kids yet. I could only assume how much more stressful or maybe fun or whatever word you want to put there with kids and running a six-figure business. What has that been like?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's actually the reason I walked away from brick and mortar. I absolutely loved the people. I loved all of the parts, but it was just the time. It was the time demands that took me away from my family. And I said that my work was getting the best of me and that wasn't good enough for me anymore. So building an online business to 6 figures has really looked different. Family, freedom of time, flexibility of workplace has been really huge as we've been building that business that has kind of given us that freedom.
Interesting. So, and I know you homeschool. You homeschool as well. Before we get into your story, has that also been difficult? Because I know there are a lot of like obviously you want to build a business around being able to support your family.
Yeah.
And doing homeschool, I could not imagine all of that. Because you're mom, you're CEO, your business partner, and now you're also teacher.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think everybody is different in how, Heather and I are very different in how we manage schedules and homeschooling. For me personally, I really enjoy my kids being a part of what we're doing. So if you have ever watched my coaching, I most of the time have a kiddo on my lap. They're running around in the background.
She does it so gracefully too. I'm like, that's a gift, Cassie. I don't know how you do that.
But we're really big on integrating life and family together. So we have kind of a balance where we homeschool in the mornings, I work in the afternoons. We just put it all together and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So what has your journey been like from, just getting started to where you guys are at now?
Yeah. So my story is very, very different. I started out in network marketing, and I was on the path to 6 figures in the network marketing world. So I had reached like top leader status in my company. I was bringing in 5-figure monthly income. It felt good, right? But I was hustling my way and like feeling so guilty, so much pressure in the online space when it comes to network marketing, and I was just feeling so much pressure to have to sacrifice things that I didn't feel good about. And I had been doing it anyway because I thought that it was a thing to do. I felt guilty for not doing it. I also, like, for me, I can't sacrifice my sleep. And people were
she
like,
can't, guys.
No. And I just felt all this pressure. Like, if I wasn't staying up till 1:00 in the morning, like messaging people that I was not wanting it bad enough. And if I wasn't getting up at 4:00 I'm like, I cannot go to bed at 1:00 and get up at 4:00 in the morning. Are you kidding me? I can't even go to bed at 1:00, period. Like, I need sleep, right? And so I was getting really, really burnt out from the hustle. And I was also incredibly convicted, but trying to push through and ignore it because of the pressure. Right. And so that is where 4 years in the online space, hustling, spending every moment that I can on social media, making sure I was doing all of the things, sacrificing time away from my daughter and sacrificing time away from my husband, sacrificing my sleep, which does not make a very good me.
Yeah.
And I was burnt out. I was so burnt out, but I also felt the Lord start tugging at my heart for something more than the hustle. Right? More than what that looked like. And so even though I felt like I was, in a way pursuing success, the Lord began to show me that is actually not success on God's terms, right? That was success on my terms. That was the world's way of doing things. And that's why I felt that pressure. And so it was in that moment, like, I made a decision, had no idea what the future held, like, did not think about coaching really. I mean, I was doing I've been doing health coaching stuff for years. But didn't want to go into health coaching. And so I just positioned myself before the Lord. Okay, let's just be real here. I was ugly crying on the Lord, had a moment with God. And when I have moments, I straight yell at him. I'm like, I'm so mad at you, Lord. It's so bad. But
okay, wait a minute. If you're watching this, have you ever been in that moment? I can say I have, where it's what is happening?
We feel that frustration. And okay, first of all, you guys can see firsthand this week that I'm a super real person. And I just let it all, how I feel, right? So of course I'm not going to hide that from God. So, I mean, I talk to him just like I talk to you guys. I have a relationship with him. And so it was in that moment that I felt him say, okay, it's time to shut this down. It's time to step into coaching. And I was like, what? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do both. And he's like, no, you're not. Oh, but come on. So it was a journey. It was uncomfortable to walk away from something that was providing for my family. I had worked so hard at it. I had a team of hundreds of people relying on me. And to just walk away from that was incredibly hard. And I fought it. I had a lot of resistance, but God worked through that because I kept my eyes on him. I'm like, all right, Lord, I'm just going to keep seeking your face. I'm supposed to do this. You'll make a way. It's all going to work out. I feel good. And finally I was just like, okay, Lord, where's my peace? What is it? And I realized in that moment, the Lord was saying, that's what I did. The 21 days of prayer, the 21 days of fasting. And we actually have that in our community for free for you guys to go through because it's so powerful. And that is where the Lord said, I need you to focus. And so this is where I teach so much about focus because I learned firsthand, how much of an impact it has on what God can do in your life. And so in that moment, that's when I committed to coaching. It was a very hard journey until I met Cassie. Basically, I did everything wrong.
Okay, how many of you have also felt, let us know in the chat. If you're watching live, let us know as well. We want to say hi. Yeah. How many of you have ever felt am I doing anything right? I'm doing all of it wrong.
I was like, are you sure you called me to this, Lord? This feels I don't know what I'm missing here. But I went on that path, like we were talking about earlier today, of the freebie seekers and getting all the things and trying all the things.
How many different offers?
Yeah, don't even get me started. And then the biggest, I would say, you didn't ask me this, but I'm telling you anyway, the biggest mistake that I made Okay. The biggest mistake that I made.
Wait. What was the biggest mistake you've ever made?
I'm so glad you asked. I just like really wanted to say this. The biggest mistake that I made was investing in marketing strategies before I was ready, before I had an offer.
Can I get an amen?
Had a solid offer.
Yeah.
That's
Because you know what's really interesting about that is a lot of people think they need to market, but they don't even understand who they're marketing to
or what they're selling.
Or what they're selling.
Right.
And so they're like, oh, I got to Facebook Live more. I got to go on Clubhouse. I got to be everywhere. But there's no intention behind it. There's no
and here's my thought.
It.
I was like, oh, Facebook ads. I'm going to need that because I'm going to build this course and I'm going to sell it on Facebook ads. I need Facebook ads. Like, and then I got into it. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I have no idea how to do any of this. I'm so not ready for this. And it was garbage. I threw together some offer webinar and it was like literally, I sent it to my mom and she's like, Heather, this is horrible. I was like, oh my God.
Your mom tells you
that. Your mom tells you this is bad.
That is so funny.
Bad, like light a fire on it. So, like $8,000
so
later.
I've had the opposite effect where my mom's the only one telling me like,
Sean,
you're so good. You had literally your mom tell you this is bad.
And she's not even like in the business world, but she's honest. I can respect that about my mom.
Now we know why Heather was ugly crying on the floor. Her mom.
Oh gosh, yeah. So guys, like seriously, don't go thousands and thousands of dollars in debt in something you're not ready for.
So good. So if you're trying to market but you don't even have your offer yet, like that is the step one, is figure out what you're selling. And then figure out who you're selling it to. And it goes back to all the training we just covered this last week or, yesterday, today.
I'd known that back then.
Yeah. So awesome. Okay. So she kind of answered the unasked question. What was the biggest mistake from your end?
So this is why Heather and I work so well together because we're so opposite. So I was the exact
She had
opposite.
no mistakes. She was she was perfect.
I had very different mistakes. So
kidding.
I like to stay behind the scenes and make up offer after offer. I stayed in offer creation mode for 3 years.
Oh my
and
gosh.
Heather can tell you, I'm always like, oh, we just need to work on this. We just need to work on this.
Like, stop it.
And so I would spend so much time behind the scenes working on perfecting this imaginary offer that I hadn't sold yet. And
I laugh at like how many of you have like those imaginary offers? I mean, I'm totally guilty of that.
Yeah.
I did that too.
Yeah.
And we get into our heads where we're building this thing that people want, but we haven't validated it in the marketplace. So I went out there and built, I have probably 5, 6 built out program courses, whatever you call them, inside my
that
library.
doesn't work for you. Here, let me give you another
Let me give you
option.
another one. But I didn't do the work of showing up. I didn't get visible. I didn't really speak to the value of what I was providing because I was so stuck in offer creation mode. So I had a very different, biggest mistake.
So I feel like there's some fears that have really driven that, because I feel like a lot of us have been there. I've been there where I'm just creating all this offer or I'm like marketing nothing. What do you feel like were the fears that kept you stuck there? Like, oh, I just got to keep creating. I got to keep creating.
Yeah, I think for me, it was definitely a fear of, I think imposter syndrome is a really big one on that. What if I don't have all the answers? I'm going to keep working on this until I have every base covered, right? And if you've ever felt that way, let me know, because it can keep you from actually getting out there and serving the people that you're building this thing for. Yeah. So mine was a lot of imposter syndrome. And
for you, it's like, just, I'm going to spend all this money on marketing, nothing. Yeah. What was the fear around that? Or what was the driving force behind that?
I think for me, a lot of it, so my fear was around not like believing that all things are possible with God, but not believing that is possible for me.
That's a big
right?
one.
Which is how the whole 21-day push was birthed, because that was a deep journey that the Lord took me on, and I couldn't just like keep it all to myself. So we did the 21-day push to share that.
And I think
but
we
that
see
was
so
fear.
Powerfully, that turning point of, do I really believe the Lord can do it for other people, and can He really do it inside of me in my business? Yeah, but as far as like the driving force to like going, it was honestly because I
was not willing to invest. This sounds like kind of cliche, but the honest truth was like, I was in that mindset of like, oh, I need to make money before I can invest money. And I just spent $8,000 on a marketing strategy that didn't work. So I can't invest anymore. But the truth was like, I couldn't figure it out on my own. I did not have a problem.
Yeah.
I did not have a solution. I had a little bit more of a problem because I was more gifted at that than solution. But like, I just didn't have it. So I was just trying to sell people like, whatever.
Yeah.
I was just trying to sell people.
Yeah. And so as you're working with clients, as you're working with clients, you see these things come up like a lot as well. And how do you help people like get out of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that clarity, like Heather was saying, when you get that confidence, you get that clarity around what it is that you do in the marketplace, how you actually create value, the process you walk people through, it almost becomes your responsibility to get out there and serve. Now it's not just, I'm trying to do this for me. It's like, hey, this is really good. I can change lives. It's my responsibility to get out there and find those people who need what it is that I have. And it shifts everything. It goes from selling to truly serving at that next level.
Yeah. You know, I just thought of something like really powerful that happened to me. I realized that, so when I went into coaching, you see when you first start, you're like, oh, what do I do? Right.
Yeah.
And you're automatically thinking coaches and the different types, like business coach, life coach, whatever. And everything in me was pulling towards like success coach and sales and stuff. But everything in me was like resistance. And I wouldn't do it. And there was a fear of being that and not being good enough, but also that it was going to turn me into that person that I was trying so hard not to be, right? That person that hustled and chased success, right? And was more power driven and given into the pressure. And so I was so scared of falling back into that place that I was resisting what the Lord was actually calling me into. And it took I feel like that for some of you probably have that same personality. And I feel like there are things that are our gifts and we just can't see them because we're so focused on other things, right? Like we're more focused maybe on the fact that we love to inspire people and we love to encourage people and we love to help them with their belief. And we love I'm a visionary, right? So I love vision.
Yeah.
Like, I thought like, oh my gosh, I have to help everyone see their vision, right? But so does every other entrepreneur out there that, Christian entrepreneur.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I really said, okay, you know what? Like, what is it that I'm good at? Like, what is it that I'm good at? And had to take almost like a step out and look in. And so I really want to encourage you because you can't get to six figures until you figure that out.
Yeah.
You really can't. And that was a pivotal moment for Cassie and I, was to really, really bring to the table what we were gifted in, what we are skilled at, and show up in that.
Yeah. And I feel like that's a lot of where like that hustle mentality comes in because they're not like when I know when I'm in my gift, it feels so good.
Right.
Like there's so much, there's a quote that I love, which is a strength isn't a strength unless it gives you strength.
Oh, I love that.
A strength isn't a strength unless it gives you strength when you're using it.
Right.
And if you're trying to do something, but it's not really your gifting, and it's not really what you've been called to do, you're hustling or you're putting all this energy that's not meant for you to give out.
It's not going to feel good.
So good. And I know like tomorrow's training, you guys talk a little bit about the hustle, the hope, and the holy processes to like getting this done.
Giving our secrets away.
Well, a little secret. Okay, so Ola says, yes, same here. She is also a visionary. And then she also says, that's good, ShawnQ. I love it. And we have AJ who's live with us. So good to see you. And he says, yes, there is flow without hindrance.
Yes.
There's flow
so
without hindrance. So good. Okay, so you've worked with a lot of people and a lot of your clients are like really successful. Like going through your testimonials and your case studies is like so inspiring and so fun. What do you find are the greatest elements or characteristics or traits or skill sets that you've noticed in your most successful clients? Like the people who are listening, what can they develop or recognize in themselves to say, oh, I'm going to be successful?
Oh, Shawn, I love that question because I think that's a little fear that we all have about investing in anything, right? Whether it's a business program, whether it's a program for personal growth, it's, am I going to get results? What does it take for me to get results? And I think inside of our program, when I think about the clients who have just been able to take it and run with it, it's been those who, and we've talked about action takers a lot this week.
Yeah.
So action is just a piece of it, but it's actually the implementation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the difference between the two is a lot of times we get action takers, and it goes back to that hustle mentality, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just going to go and do something, even if it's not really what I need to be doing right now. And so one of the
and I feel like a lot of that also is I just need to be busy.
Oh,
Like at least that was
Oh,
it for me.
yeah,
like
for sure.
I just need to be doing something.
if I'm doing
Otherwise,
something, I'm moving forward,
exactly.
right?
Which is
Then
so-
I feel like I'm working.
Which is almost always the opposite. If you're
Exactly.
doing all the wrong things, you're headed in the wrong way. You're doing a lot.
I
mean,
think
like-
AJ
Going the wrong
hit it,
way.
right? It's the flow.
Yeah.
It's when you're doing the right action and you're focused. And I think that's the power of having something that when you wake up in the morning, you know what to implement. It's
Right.
not just I'm going to go get busy. I'm not just going to go post on social media and
Yeah.
pretend like I've grown my business today.
Or what offer am I going to sell today?
yes.
Or how do I don't know what to talk. I don't know what I'm selling. Like, how do I talk to this person?
So it's really those who have been able to come in, they've had open hearts, they've had willing spirits, and they've been able to take the information, the support, the accountability, and they have been very strategic and focused in implementation. So I'd say that's the biggest.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I think that's good. I think all of our successful clients have come to us, and through the program, when challenges arise or something, the brain dumping part or whatever is a little challenging, they show up and they reach out. Right. So that's why this program works, because we're here to give that support. And it's for that reason, right? Because when we're doing it in our own head, on our own, like we do get
So
stuck.
hard.
Yeah.
We do get stuck.
Yeah.
And so I love it. And it's fun for me. Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, you're stuck here. Awesome. Like, okay, let's hash this out. Right.
Heather is so good at that encouragement piece and that getting you outside of your own head. I think you're the best at that.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, thank you.
You know, something you said, I think last week to me when we were doing something else, I don't remember, but you said something about having the right tool as well. And you give a really fun story about having the wrong tool. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah. So as you all will be able to tell, I'm a very car-oriented person. So we were out working.
How could they tell?
We were out working on the thingy-mabobber, and
Yes.
we were moving the doohickey with the tool that I know nothing about cars. Okay. So my husband is out, and we are trying to change off the shocks on our big old truck. So we've got this truck. Yes. Oh, we. This is a joint project. Okay. It's my husband.
All right.
I'm out there for moral support, and it's dark, and it's it's getting dark early.
Moral support.
So we've got to get this thing done. And he says, honey, all you need to do is grab the thing and put it on the thing and pull. And I said, oh, I can do that. And so I'm like under the truck, like halfway underneath the vehicle. And I'm like pulling on this thing, and we have to do it. And it's late and it won't move. And he's a little aggravated at this point. It's getting dark. And I'm like, I can't do it. And he says, let me get you a different tool. So he gives me a longer lever, and I'm able to pull what I couldn't before. The person didn't change. I didn't learn any more about the vehicle. I didn't gain any like amazing strength in that moment. The tool changed.
Yeah.
And I had one of those
So good.
moments where I was standing there and I'm like, this is what business is like.
Yeah.
It's not doing more things. It's not being smarter. It's having the right tools and the right process at the right time, and everything's easier.
Preach it, woman.
I think that needs like a hashtag amen in the chat. So good. Like it's really a matter of getting that right tool so you can implement in the right way and actually move forward. I'm assuming you guys fixed the
I
car.
love that.
The car is running. We pulled
Yeah.
the camper the next week. Nothing's fallen off. I'm calling it a win.
Wow. So awesome. Okay,
Love
I see Ola who said right tool, and Arlene says thank you, and AJ says hashtag amen. I love it.
Right.
Okay, here now if you guys have any questions for them, let us know in the chat. We want to get your questions answered. Could be about business, it could be about faith, it could be about religion, relationships, could be anything. Okay, so I'm curious here because you guys are business partners. I've had business partners. I'm
We know where this is
curious.
going.
How have you made
Don't
it
ask
work?
it. I don't like her.
How do you guys make it work? Because anytime you put two people together, there's going to be some great moments
Mhm.
and then maybe some not so great moments.
Yeah, absolutely. Heather, you want to take that one?
I think the number one thing we have going for us is that we don't live close by. So we're not like everyday friends in each other's day-to-day life. I really think that matters. And then I think I would say the biggest thing is really relying on the Holy Spirit. Like there's moments where we know we have to just kind of step back and ask the Holy Spirit to, okay, like how do I respond to her? How do I handle this? What do I say? I think I'm gifted because Cassie's got grace in how she talks to people. But yeah, she's very good. She's very good at reading me. And I think I'm pretty good at reading her too. So I feel like we both kind of have that going for us. I don't encourage everyone to get a business partner. I feel like it really needs to be like a Holy Spirit thing.
And I think one of the things that, I mean, even recently, just in the last couple of months, Heather and I have been able to do even better is to get that clarity around what it is that we bring to the table.
Yeah.
And really step into that. Kind of like we
Right.
talked about with that hustle. Instead of both trying to show up and be good at everything,
Yes.
we really spent some time and we dug deep and we said, what are the things that Heather can do like no one else? And what are the things that I can do? And I don't even have to think about it. It just comes
Right.
naturally.
Mm.
So I think part of that partnership balance is allowing space for the other to show up in their strengths
Yeah.
and having permission to do it yourself.
And figure out what it looks like to support them, right? To support them in that way, all for the same goal. Right?
Yeah, you're working towards the same thing.
It's working for
That's
the same
important.
goal. So
Yeah. Somebody asked, Ola says, I was going to ask that too. Are you guys related sisters?
no, we're not actually. We met online. We didn't even meet in person until we were in business for like, I don't know,
First year. It was
like
over a year
8
till we met in person.
months maybe or something.
And I'm going on record that
crazy.
Heather was blonde when we met.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we didn't.
Interesting.
I changed my hair color. Y'all, I'm a 7 on the Enneagram. Okay, I get bored.
She'll be a different color next week.
Yes, I changed my hair color.
So fun.
Do all the things.
So funny. You know, something that I think in this goes with partnerships or even just with like staff members, contractors, anytime you're hiring or bringing someone into your business to support the mission, having the hard conversations before you need to have the hard conversations is like super important. So like one of the first conversations I have with somebody I hire is here's how to quit, right? Like you, at some point you may want to move on. You may have a better job opportunity. You may want, like, this may not be the thing for, like, it's seasonal for you. Yeah. I want to support you in whatever that next step is. So, like, every single one of my staff members know, if you want to, like, go find a better job that can probably pay you more than I can, I'll help you find that. I'll make calls. I'll write a great referral letter for you because I want to support you because I believe in you as a person, not just what you can give me. And so here's how to quit. When you're feeling that, let me know. And maybe it's something I could change. Maybe it's something you can change. Maybe it's a culture shift. And then we mitigate those risks. And we coach them through the process and we create a plan around that. Another thing I like to say is at some point, I'm going to irritate you. I'm just going to get really annoyed. Like you're going to get annoyed with me. And at some point I might get annoyed with you, right? Because when you put two people together, there's always going to be some tension. So one of the questions I like to ask is, how would you like me to handle the tension that I might sense or might feel? Do you want me to just be direct and say, hey, I'm feeling this. It needs to stop. Or do you want me to like have a meaningful conversation with you and like explore, what are you feeling? Some people like one, some people like the other. Right. And so really getting clear on how to have those hard conversations before you need to have the hard conversation so you prepare yourself for it is super, super key. And I feel like you two do really well with giving each other that space of like, this is what you're really good at, and this is what you're really good at. And you complement that, like affirm that, like, oh, you're really good at that. And I think that's really key.
I think it's just like a good marriage, right? You have to know kind of where that common ground is and you have to show up and speak to their strengths and have grace for the weaknesses. As we all have.
Good.
And besides, like, I mean, there's no point in having a partner if you're not going to be supportive and uplifting for them, right? Like you guys wouldn't want to work with us if we weren't supporting one another and showing up as a unit, right? A unit that can serve you.
And so that kind of leads me to that next question is, how does that show up? Like, do you both coach or is it just one of you, or like, how does that show up with your clients?
We tried that. We've kind of tried several different things to see, like, just because sometimes you just kind of got to try it, right, to figure it out. We definitely decided that us both showing up at the same time to coach does not best serve our clients. They get more from just working with one of us at a time.
So you both coach just at different times.
Yep, different times,
so
different ways.
Literally, when people work with you, they get two coaches.
They get two complete skill sets. So Heather does the sales, the mindset, the motivation, and really powerful strategic ways along the way.
Yeah.
And then I show up with the practical, mapping it out, getting that offer solid, and really getting clear on a solution that you're proud of.
Right. So like some examples, like I'm doing, so, I'm talking to you about like how to sell your problem. I'm talking about how to sell your solution, because when you're done with the program, you're going to need to sell it. Right. And so we want you fully equipped to be able to do that. Whereas you're going to get on a call with Cassie and she's going to, I'll let you tell them.
See how it works? My goal is to make sure that you are clear and confident in what you're bringing to the marketplace and getting you outside of your head. So we've talked a little bit about how it's hard when you're up here to really pull out your value. And so we get that, we pull it out, we go deep, and we really create that solution and that process that allows you to show up at your best.
And there's a reason why, like, I talked about the problem yesterday and she talked about the solution, because I'm good at the problem. She's good at the solution. So we get on and I love it. It's so fun. I'm like, this is so much fun. I'm like, okay, cool. This is awesome. Let's break it down a little bit more. Okay, cool. What are you thinking here? Tell me more about this. Okay, here's what I'm seeing. Like, I love it. So much fun. And then,
I can't help but do the solution. I just keep showing up.
So awesome. Okay, so I'm going to kind of shift gears a little bit. You both are married. You both have kids. How have you, like, I know being myself, I've been married. At the beginning of my marriage, Addie, my wife, was not entrepreneurial at all.
I mean, you are married. Let's just be clear.
Yes, I am married. At the beginning of my marriage that I am in right now, Addie was not entrepreneurial. Now, what's been really cool is that she's seen some of the work that I've been able to do. She's becoming, and she's stepping more into what I think she has always been entrepreneurial, and just like owning that role.
Oh, that's so cool.
Are you guys married to entrepreneurs? How do you like make decisions with your spouse about your business, or does that like how does that all kind of intertwine?
I love that question.
Yeah, that was a great question.
I will speak for myself on this one, and that my husband is not entrepreneurial, but I have been so blessed with, he's a supporter. He is one of those people that whoever he comes alongside, he's like the guy you want on your side. Like, he's going to support you. He's going to encourage you. And he has been such a voice of you can do it. I mean, we come up with some pretty crazy ideas, flying to Colorado for 5 days.
Some man we've never met in person. We're like, he's married, I promise.
And he has been such that voice of, I've got your back no matter what.
Yeah.
So he's not entrepreneurial in such that he has his own business. I mean, he doesn't have that kind of a spirit, but he is that like person who's just in your back, cheering you on and supporting you and watching the kids while you're away every step of the way.
That's always good.
So he's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So my husband is absolutely not entrepreneurial. He is so far from entrepreneurial.
Okay. So we have two non-entrepreneurials.
Non-entrepreneurial
I'm curious from you guys listening, are your partners, if you're in a relationship, are they entrepreneurial? Let us know in the chat.
And I also, because this comes up a lot, like I actually have a podcast episode that gets a lot of hits, because I talk about how to handle an unsupportive spouse. So if you feel like your husband is so non-entrepreneurial that it feels unsupportive, then I can send you that link to that podcast episode.
What's your podcast called?
Well, at the moment it's called Faith First Marketing. Yes,
I love it.
However, the name is changing. So.
Okay, all right. So if they were to look up,
of a brand.
if they were to look up right now, like right after the stream, Faith First Marketing, they would find it.
Yes.
Okay, great. And then what is the title of that podcast episode? Do you remember?
I'm pretty sure it's How to Handle an Unsupportive Spouse.
Okay, so if you're listening and you're like, we don't know how to support each other, or like he or she doesn't know how to support me, like listen to that podcast.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Do you have a podcast?
I do. I have the Christian Women Business Builders podcast.
Christian Women Business Builders podcast. Yes. Okay, what kind of content can we expect from that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do a lot of doing business as the body of Christ. So how can we partner with other believers? How can we go deeper into being led by the Holy Spirit? And it's really kind of just resetting things in the way that the Lord has for us, as opposed to what we learn in the world.
Yeah, so good, so good.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you guys have any questions, let us know in the chat. I want to ask on your behalf. What have you found to be the biggest lesson you've learned recently about business and about running your 6-figure business?
Yeah. Heather, do you have one recent?
No, I'm gonna have to think about this for a minute, Shawn.
All right, so I would say
This was an unexpected question.
Yeah,
I
I
love
know.
it. Yeah, we're getting real deep.
So I will say recently, the Lord has really been doing a work in my heart. And it kind of goes back to that hustle mentality, but truly believing that He's going to show up and do it, not in spite of me, but through my faithful actions. And it wasn't, used to, I had to think that I was the one that had to put forth the work first in order for Him to bless my actions. And it's really been this beautiful place of being able to work alongside Him and trust Him to go ahead. And then I'm almost following behind and just enjoying the goodness. So it's been a really fun shift in just kind of how I show up and how I expect the Lord to show up in my walk.
Yeah, that's good.
Hmm.
I feel like I don't have a recent lesson in business. The things God's been doing in my life have been like on the other side of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say the biggest lesson that I've recently learned is learning to learning to love myself and others the way that God loves me. Like, and from that perspective, which is kind of weird when you think about it, because you're like, I mean, I've been a believer for like my whole life, like
Yeah.
not just come natural, but it doesn't. There's so many things that just as a believer for however long you've been, that we just know, right? Or we've just heard, or we just kind of say, but we don't fully understand it or have a revelation of it, right? Until for some reason, somehow, some way, like we position ourselves before the Lord for Him to start doing that work, right? And so it's been kind of fun to start looking at everything, you know, like how can I love my child in this moment the way that God loves me? How can I love, you know, my husband in this moment the way that God loves me? Okay, how can I start seeing my mom, my mother-in-law, the way that God sees me and
So
loves
beautiful.
me, right?
Yeah.
Like it's hard because we're not perfect.
Darn it.
You're not perfect?
Gummit.
What?
I mean, I know you think I'm perfect, guys.
So funny. Okay, so we got a couple of comments come in. Ola says, nice podcast for both of you. Sounds like what she does on Clubhouse for Womenpreneur,
It
Kingdom
does,
Lifestyle and
yes.
Business, kind of the marketplace, which is super cool. And you're
That's
really big
really
on
cool.
Clubhouse, like at least more big than I am.
Clubhouse.
Yeah. And then AJ says he has some podcasts with his wife.
Oh,
that's so cool.
Y'all drop
I
it in the
love that. I
comments.
keep trying
Yeah.
to get my husband to start a podcast. Okay, first of all, his name is Bobby Dollar, which like straight up is just like,
That's a pretty
I
cool
mean,
name.
he's got a name for like a podcast,
Yeah,
right?
it's like
or
a
TV show
celebrity
or
name,
something.
you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's so into sports. I'm like, babe, seriously, like you know how easy it would be to podcast. And he's like, I don't know what I'm saying on podcast. I'm like, you do sport. You talk about sports like day in and day out. Like, just
So
get on there
funny.
and talk about it. No, I don't want to do that. I'm
Aw.
like, come on. He just, I told you, he's like the opposite of entrepreneurial. That's
I
too
love it.
entrepreneurial for him.
So awesome. Okay, so let's dive deep into kind of the six-figure lifestyle. How much time do you guys
fun.
spend on your business?
We both laugh because I think there's like this myth that we work a whole lot of hours like doing all this. And there was a season, right? There was a season that we did have to build
That
out
we
the
worked a little
program.
bit more.
We worked more.
Yeah.
But right now, Heather works probably 20 minutes.
1 hour.
Heather works probably less than 4 hours a week.
I do.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And I still have a little bit more of that, like, got to get out there and do it. So I probably work a solid 6 to 8 hours a week on like true business. True business work. Yeah.
Building a six-figure business. What's so funny is so many people think you have to like hustle and grind and like sacrifice all your time to something.
And Shawn, the work that
That was
we
so
show up and do
stressful.
is fun. I mean, like
Yeah.
we show up and do the work that we enjoy. And we were just talking about that actually before this. Even when we go home, we're still refining what's fun for you in this season.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
do you have time for in this season? Because
Yeah.
I mean, if y'all are homeschooling, you have kids, your season shift.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I know
And
every time I start a new
that's
school
been
year,
hard.
it's like everything
Yeah.
changes. So 4 to
Yeah.
6 hours. Heather lives life at the lake. She
Yeah.
would live at the beach if she could.
Yeah.
I'm camping.
The lake
I'm at the
instead.
campground. We love to go hiking as a family. So we're very active,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
work is
Mhm.
just kind of like the thing that supports that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm
Which-
very focused. So it's really, really hard for me to focus like
Long
on
period.
school and like
Oh.
homeschooling
Yeah,
and
shifting gears.
I
parenting
see.
for 24 hours a day and business. Like it's just hard. So I can't do it every day. Like just takes too much energy.
Yeah. 4 to 6 hours. Wow. That's
Yeah.
great. So what's really interesting is, so I've built a 6-figure business as well, multiple 6-figure business,
Yeah.
and we're actively reducing the amount of things that we're doing
Yes.
so that we can
Yeah.
continue. Like what happens for a lot of people is, and let me know if this resonates with you, is people build businesses, and then they build their lifestyle around the
Right.
business,
Amen.
Right.
as opposed to like, what's the lifestyle I want to live,
Yeah.
and how can I build a business that supports that lifestyle?
And I
Right.
think that
Yep.
intentionality from day one is really key.
Oh, it saves you
That's
so
what I
much
was just
time.
about to say. I was gonna say,
Yeah.
like when we started working together, like that was our
Yeah.
intention.
That was the goal.
I
Like, we're
feel
not
like
doing
that's
this
a lesson I wish
any
I
other way.
learned, like,
right.
like
And you know,
3-4
but-
years ago.
Yeah, and I was just to say, like, you guys, like, it's a myth that you have to be doing all of these things, like everything, all yourself and all the time. Like, seriously, like, you guys can just pick one thing.
Yeah.
Like, one, marketing, like, one way to get in front of people. Like, just one thing. And just do that one thing and, make sure you have your offer. You have an offer to sell.
And so Ola says that's what I'm most curious about, to work less than 40 hours a week and make
Oh
great
my goodness.
revenue.
Oh my
Yes.
Like that sounds like a pipe dream almost.
So I think I want to speak to the fact that you have to build the assets in order to
do.
be able to show up in that way. And so it's just a different mindset. It's a different structure. And that's one of the biggest things that our ladies kind of have that aha moment. I think about, usually it's right about month 2.
Yeah.
Where it goes from, I'm having to show up live. I'm having to do everything the first time.
Right.
I'm having to go out and create this over and over again.
Yeah.
To everything I'm doing, I'm building an asset that then I can
Nice.
leverage in my
Leverage, yep.
business forever and ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're showing up live, you're
Yeah.
showing up and they're getting the best of you.
Right.
Yeah.
Heather talks about showing up and serving from overflow. And
Yeah.
I love that visual. It's like
Yeah.
they're getting the best of what
Right.
you
If you
have.
do it right the first time, then you can do it, give it what we do 6 months in our program, right? So give us 6 months. The first 3 months really
building.
are the hardest,
Yeah.
right? Because you're doing the hard mental work,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but then you get to go into the fun part.
Yeah.
And then by month 6, you're not trying to do the creative mental hard work while you're trying to sell. So, 6 months, 3 months of the hard part instead of
Yeah.
on average, our clients come to us having tried on their own for 3 years.
3 to 5 years
Yeah.
is the average that our
Wow.
clients
Yeah.
come to us. And
Wow.
they're like, we've had so many ladies say, I've done more in 3 months than I have
Yes.
in 3 years on my own.
Wow.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
one of our
So give
favorite
us the 3
testimonies.
to 6 months or take 3 to 5 years. Your choice.
Yeah, you could choose whichever one. So funny. Okay, so do you have a staff?
We have one staff, and
We
this
have a big staff of one person.
but she is very strategically placed in our team. And
Yeah,
we
she is.
teach after your first full launch, we want you to bring support on.
We do.
We want you to be very, very aware of the fact that we don't want you to do everything, but you don't have to go out and pay thousands and thousands of dollars a month for a specialist.
Yeah.
So we teach you how to set up somebody strategically in your business that does a lot of the heavy lifting, but in a way that's really, really easy for you.
When I was in network marketing, I had a coach that told me great advice. And she said, nobody ever gets to the top alone. And at first at that moment, I thought, oh, she's talking about I need a coach, right? But now I've grown to realize that actually means you can't get to the top doing it all on yourself. You can't get to the top without having support and people to lean on and people to lift you up and people to correct you and people to show you the way, right? So that's been a growing experience for me, but it was some of the best advice that I ever got.
It's so interesting. So we've grown it almost I think next year we're going to finally break the 7-figure barrier. I think it's going to happen.
Yes,
We've
so
been
excited.
super,
It will
I
happen.
believe it's going to happen.
It will happen.
You know what's so interesting though is growing companies get so much more complex unnecessarily. It's just so easy to say, let's make that more complex.
Right.
And believe you have to do that instead of no, it can just let's keep it simple.
And Shawn, I think
Let's
I
keep
see
it
the
simple.
other
Right.
side of that
Yeah.
too, where I think smaller entrepreneurs feel like I need to be making 7 figures or 6 figures before I bring on help.
Yeah.
And I want to say
Totally.
right now, if you are, our goal is to get you making consistent income pretty early on in the program so that you can set aside a piece of that and get help from very early in your business. And that's just as key, I think.
Yeah.
And again, it's okay, you are either going to do 10 more hours of work, which robs you of the lifestyle, or you're going to hire someone to do the 10 hours of work,
Right.
which is something they're praying for, likely.
Right.
Like, I'm
Oh,
looking for
it's a
this.
huge blessing.
Right?
And
It's a huge blessing
having
to them.
I can't afford that yet. That's just a mindset.
Keeps
It's
you
a
stuck for
mindset.
too
It's a
long.
belief that there's not enough, that you're not enough. Okay, so
The
Yeah.
future money's
You'll
not
have-
coming.
yeah.
More clients aren't
Yeah.
coming. How am I going to pay
Simple
them?
and easy.
Yes.
Yes,
Simple and
it's
easy.
simple
My
and
favorite
easy.
word. Simple. Just keep it simple. Keep it easy.
I'm always saying that to Cassie.
Yeah.
Okay, I figured a way out to simplify.
So
Oh gosh,
awesome.
what are we getting into?
Oh, all right, let's do it.
So awesome. Okay, if you have any other questions, we're going to be live for maybe another 5 minutes, but let us know in the chat what those questions are, because we want to ask that.
This is so much fun.
I know it is so much fun. You guys. I was telling them, for everyone, I was telling them they all need to have like a TV show, because I would literally just watch and laugh.
And we would just be talking and laughing. So.
Yes, I know. We were recording a video today. It was like a welcome video. I don't know what it was, but anyway, we literally started the whole entire video like, "Oh, are you gonna talk or am I gonna
We're
talk?"
talking,
And
we're
then we
talking.
started like busting out laughing. And we just kept rolling. We're like,
I love
"Okay,
it.
you know what? They're just gonna get the real us."
So awesome. So awesome. Okay, so a couple of questions that I'm just going to do kind of like rapid fire,
gosh.
whatever.
Oh, no.
Popcorn.
Leave me out.
What is your Enneagram?
I'm a 3.
7.
What's your Enneagram? Let us know in the chat. Okay, what would you say is her best strength that she brings to the table?
Vulnerability.
Oh, really?
She's very open.
Hmm.
Well, I can't answer now. I don't know what to say. Is that good?
What is her greatest strength that she brings to the table?
She's very, very good at communicating and where people are and helping them to step into like what that next I'm not talking about in like terms of like, their next phase or but in terms of our business, like with like your solution and your offer and what you do and all those desires. She's very good at pulling out those desires and helping you figure out where they fit into your process, your program. She's also very encouraging.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. So Chris, so good to see you. She says real is good.
Yeah.
Would you say she's an activator?
An activator.
That's what Chris is
That's
asking.
A really good
that's a
word.
good word. I like
Yeah.
that.
I would say
Chris.
she's an activator.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So activator, coach extraordinaire. I love it. Super cool.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your go-to meal when you don't know what to cook?
Ooh, and I don't know what to cook. So we make a big old pan of Sheep Family nachos at least once a week because you can just lay out some chips, put on some cheese, and throw
Yes.
anything on
You
them.
know,
My kids
I
love
love
nachos.
nachos.
My kids
Yeah.
love it. It's
My
like,
kids love it too.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your go-to meal?
Well, so if it's like just me, it's tuna and crackers. If it's my whole family and we're in a rush, it's like chicken nuggets and green beans.
That is so
chicken nuggets
funny.
and green beans.
If I actually have time to like pull something out for the to cook, it's gonna be spaghetti.
Yeah. So I would say my go-to meal is pasta.
Pasta.
It's just
Can't go wrong
boil
with
the
pasta.
water, put
Throw
the
on some
butter,
sauce.
put
Yeah.
the thing in. You're good.
Half the time I make spaghetti without meat too. Yeah, because it's like, oh yeah, we don't have meat. Sorry.
So awesome. Okay.
Daddy didn't go to the grocery store.
If you could surprise your partner with a trip anywhere around the world, where would you surprise them to?
Okay, which
Partner,
partner?
yeah.
Oh, your relationship, your husband.
Okay.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
an easy one. So my husband, I don't
Yeah,
think
I'm
he's-
not gonna have you tell her where you're gonna surprise her.
Just
I
making
was
sure.
like, yeah, Cassie, where?
So my husband, I don't think he's watching this. So I can share this. He's getting ready to turn 40 this year, and I would love.
Ooh.
We're looking to surprise him with a trip to Dallas. He's a huge Cowboys fan. He has a
Okay.
lifelong dream of going to see the stadium, God's eye to the sky, as he calls it. So I would love to be able to do that.
Interesting. I was just in Dallas. It's
Were
really
you?
hot, but great food.
See, he's just there for the game. Like,
Yeah.
that's all he
Yeah.
wants.
Yeah, the Dallas Stadium is great. Okay, where
Yeah.
would you surprise your partner? Husband, not
my
her.
husband. I would surprise my partner with tickets to the Masters,
Oh,
And which
yeah, golf.
happens to be
Oh,
in
interesting.
Georgia. So maybe we could go watch them somewhere else.
Yeah. Huh.
But yeah, he would like love that. So,
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
I mean, I
Interesting.
can think of better trips, but it's not about me.
Yeah. So I don't know if Addie's watching this actually, but I think she already knows we're planning a Spain trip. So we're going to Spain.
Oh,
Yeah.
That would be
I have a
so
couple clients in
fun.
Spain, and I
Makes you
really
wanna
want
go.
to swim in that Spanish
I know,
Ocean.
those are goals.
Oh,
Oh my
man.
gosh, yes.
Let's be go.
That would be
Okay.
amazing.
What is your least favorite vegetable?
Least favorite vegetable. Okay, so I like vegetables, but I have this really weird thing where I don't like cantaloupe. Like out of I like all the
That's a
fruits, all the
random one,
veggies.
yeah.
It's just
Isn't that a
cantaloupe.
fruit?
That's what I said. I eat all the veggies. I
Oh,
don't
cantaloupe
have any.
is a fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I
I thought
said-
she was saying it was a
Yeah.
vegetable.
No, well, I
Oh,
said
yeah.
I like all the veggies. I don't
Gotcha.
have like any like.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
eat the Brussels
Interesting.
sprouts.
Yeah.
love broccoli. My kids.
Do you
love
like Brussels
broccoli.
sprouts like oven roasted and
Yeah.
or yeah, boiled?
Well, you got to pour bacon.
Yeah.
on 'em.
Oh,
I mean, you
yeah.
got to
I
have
don't.
bacon,
Yeah.
right?
All right. Whatever. All right. What is your least favorite vegetable?
So if you consider beets a vegetable, it is hands down going to be beets.
I like beets. Just cantaloupe.
Yeah, I'm a pretty good vegetable eater, and I can make myself eat and drink anything if it's good for me.
Interesting.
Hence, I drink disgusting celery juice every morning.
Huh. So, okay, Chris says, who in this community could connect you with tickets to Masters?
Oh, that's a good
Interesting.
question.
Good
Oh,
question. I like you.
I see. Where's my Dallas
My
fans?
husband loves you.
So awesome. Okay, here's my last question, and then if you guys have any questions, let us know. What would you say has been the funnest part of your trip so far?
Oh my goodness. So I'd say the funnest part for me was probably our hike. I've really enjoyed, God made me a mountain girl. I love the mountains. So getting to experience the Rocky Mountains as opposed to the Blue Ridge Mountains was just spectacular.
So fun.
Oh my gosh, we were on the top of that mountain this hike, and I looked over and I pushed Cassie off the mountain.
Is that why you have all these bruises? No, I'm kidding.
I don't know. I think the funnest part for me has actually just been being with another human and laughing and just having those like genuine laughable moments where it's like you're not just laughing at 8-year-old humor or 3-year-old humor. Like it's been very refreshing for my soul, that and the beautiful view. It's been everywhere.
Yeah, it is very just beautiful here.
It is.
I feel like we should throw in
Yeah.
that we've had a lot of fun on the challenge. I mean,
Oh,
getting
yeah.
to meet Sean,
Yeah. It's
getting
pretty cool.
to hang out with the crew, it's been a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
So awesome. And then Chris says, you got to get specific in your ask. And she's the one who said the Masters question. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you.
And then she says, totally get that. Just being in person with people, I'd say that was probably my favorite part so far. And we're not even halfway through.
I know.
Like, this is
Yay,
crazy.
almost moved
So
on.
tomorrow, I kind of give a little bit of teaser, a little bit. Can you give us a little bit of a kind of a teaser?
No.
No? Okay.
Why would we want to do that?
Wow.
We're gonna
All
ruin
right.
the surprise.
Okay, so there's such great content tomorrow. Such great
We'll give you
training.
one word. Sales.
Ah,
I like it. I
interesting.
like
Okay,
it.
so we're gonna be talking about sales. And then day 4, you're gonna be doing some 6-figure mindset belief work. Cassie, on Friday, we are giving away gifts and prizes. We're literally giving away an iPad and a 60-minute massage, which I might just give myself too.
I think I'm gonna take it,
That
guys.
one may be off the table.
I know.
And we are giving away Amazon gift cards, but you're also doing
It's
a
so
Zoom
fun.
call on building a community, specifically not on social media.
I know. I'm
Like,
so
She's
excited.
so
I'm
good
so
at this.
excited.
She's
Yeah.
so good at this, guys. You
So
don't want to miss
interesting.
that.
And then Chris says, no teaser, that's your tease.
That's right. That's
so
right.
awesome. So awesome. And then I think we have a panel at some point as well. We'll announce that tomorrow.
I think we're doing that with our community call. I think we're bringing that community
yeah,
panel
that's
back.
right.
How
yeah.
exciting.
So you're actually going to get inside our community, get to see some of the
Wow.
leaders.
Yes.
Wow,
That's
super
gonna
fun.
be fun.
Well, this has been Cassie and Heather. They are amazing. Can we give them a huge round of applause in the chat? Thank you so much for coming down and doing this training with this community.
Yes.
Oh,
You guys are
It's been
amazing.
awesome.
We'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time. It's gonna be amazing. Can we wait? Don't end that stream. Can we get Wisdom to come back here real quick?
Wisdom! You
So
gotta get on
Wisdom is our video
camera.
producer.
Woo, woo.
He's my full-time media guy.
He
Come back
is
here.
incredible.
He's
the
amazing.
wizard behind the screen.
Yes.
His name
oh my
is
gosh.
really Wisdom, guys. It's
I
so
know.
cool.
It is so cool. Wisdom. Woo!
All right. We'll
So
see you guys
awesome.
tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time. It's going to be so fire. Get your questions ready. Get your pen, your paper ready. It's going to be Amazing.
Amazing.
All right. Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
y'all.